Sam the Asthma Man, back at it again with social asthma. And we'll wrap it up with the L in social. Okay, this is a big one here. Low blood sugar. Okay, for years I could never figure out why I had restrictive, irritated lungs about 11:30 in the afternoon, or 11:30 in the morning, and then again about 4:30 in the evening. What was happening is I would have a quickie breakfast, usually out of a blender, so it went through me quick. Then by 11:30 before lunch, my blood sugar was down to around 80, the normal range 80 to 120. After lunch, about 1 o'clock, no problems breathing, no asthma. Well, 4:30 in the afternoon-ish, 5 o'clock during the drive home, I noticed I was having a little tightness in the chest. Hopefully everybody else knows this, and it took me years to figure it out, but every time my blood sugar dropped down, even though I was in the acceptable range of 80 to 120, when I got down in the low 80s, man, I started to get tight, and it just didn't feel good. And what it did is when, we asthmatics tend to be panicky. You feel tight in the chest, you start over breathing and blowing off your carbon dioxide. Bad situation to worse situation. Start mouth breathing and all kinds of stuff. Not only at the time of that, I was a student at a technical college, so the population of women to men, as a medical student, was about 8 to 10, 8 women to 10 men. They were all wearing perfume. The fans would start spinning the perfume around, and even people that didn't have allergies, it sounded like they had an artificial cold. It was almost comical. Anyway, asthmatics need to snack every hour minimum. I prefer every half hour. A bag of carrots is awesome because very few people on this earth are allergic to carrots. They're a neutral food. Plus they have a good reservoir of sugar, natural sugars in them. Celery, kiwis, I like kiwis, strawberries, anything you can carry on your person instead of eating big and having the big blood sugar surge and then, or spike, and then the fall off the cliff. I used to use bags of peanuts, but I don't anymore. Too many oils, too many salts. They are good. They do stay in your system long, but I don't use nuts the way I used to. I use water-containing foods. Okay, when you use water-containing foods, you stay evenly hydrated. An asthmatic doesn't want to be overhydrated because it will cause our lung tissue to swell, edemic almost. We sure as heck don't want to be dehydrated because in the lungs you have cilia. Hopefully you can see this, and if I ever get up a little money, I'll get an animation. In the lungs of the air passages, there's little hairs that sweep like over 1,000 times a minute. They're called cilia. And what these cilia do is they sweep dirt and pollen and things you've inhaled up so they can be expectorated or swallowed down the esophagus. Okay, on top of the cilia is a layer of mucus. They actually call it the mucociliary escalator, MCE. Okay, a normal person has an even spacing of cilia. Not so in most asthmatics. We have gaps, either from the irritation, the inflammation, the damage, whatever. I don't really know why. But I saw this on a radiograph when I was going to the Denver Technical College. We have gaps. So our cilia are still working their little tails off, but the gap here. So if we suffer from dehydration, what will happen is the mucus will build up and we'll get mucus plugs. So we want to eat a lot of water-containing food, fresh broccoli, fresh cauliflower, forget all the dips, carrots, celery, again kiwi, strawberries. The fruits with seeds in them tend to be very good for asthmatics as they carry a lot of antioxidants and polyphenols and yada yada. Okay, so we want Just stay evenly hydrated. All right, so water-containing raw foods, please. I mean, this will work like miracles. And for other disorders too, like diabetes. Okay, I think I've hammered that enough. One more thing before I get off of liquids. When you wake up in the morning, have a tall glass of water. You're going to wake up after 8 hours of sleeping, you're going to be dehydrated. That's why our urine is usually yellow in the morning. Okay, don't get up and immediately have coffee. That'll just dehydrate you further. And then back to the mucociliary escalator. Have a tall glass of water in the morning, and then if you have to drink coffee, at least put cinnamon in the coffee filter to even out the blood sugar. But I think coffee's a no-no for asthmatics unless we're in an emergency situation. And, you know, I would prefer coffee over a rescue inhaler or an albuterol nebulizer. Okay. The L also stands for liquor. Or here in the U.S. we call liquor or alcohol liquor synonymous. They dehydrate us, and most asthmatics are allergic to beer and wine because of the yeast, I suppose, in them. They're alive. You know, wine and beer are actually alive. It took me forever. You know, when I was about 21 in the college days and the party was on, you know, it took me forever to figure this out. Hopefully you already know it. But the college-age kids, if you have to drink vodka, whiskey, distilled alcohol, even gin's a no-no because of all the pollens and the berries and stuff they put in there. Alcohol, still, even in its pure state, is a vasodilator, meaning the capillaries in our lungs that exchange oxygen and CO2 will swell up because of the alcohol. Even in our nasal passages, they swell up, secreting mucus and tightening our airways. No alcohol is actually best, okay? Okay, well that's about it for the L. If you have an unusual case of asthma that this doesn't help, I'd like to hear from you by phone. I typically don't like emails because it's just too hard to get the true feeling. My credentials is I'm a respiratory technician and a licensed practical nurse, but that didn't get me to where I am today as far as asthma treatment goes. Commercial sponsored medicine did actually very little for me beyond the emergency situations I've had to deal with. Okay, well that's it. Sam the Asthma Man signing out. Thank you.